Hello everyone, this is Ginger Pana. It is Faithful Fridays. And if you're watching this video, this is episode 3 of a collab that I'm in with Sabrina, who is our host. She is from the S Factor Studio here on YouTube, and the other collaborator is Ida Martinez from Created to Create here on the YouTube. So the three of us are in a collab together, and Sabrina had some wondrous ideas of putting together this collab. She's very spirit filled with Jesus, so spirit moves her in a way that is so awesome, and her idea for this collab is magnificent. So I am so happy and blessed to be participating in it. Please go back to our other episodes. I have episode 1 and 2 loaded. The other ladies do also. And so please follow us. One of the things that we are doing for this collab is a giveaway. So we're going to give away our crafts that we made from the episode before. And we will give you a couple of weeks to watch the video and comment. I ask that you be a subscriber to my channel. I also would love for you to go to the other ladies' channels and subscribe to them as well. And all you have to do is comment below, and then you'll be entered into a drawing to win one of these crafts that we make. So every week we make 3 sets, or 3 of something. So 2 of them will go. One is for Sabrina, one is for Ida, and the third one is for my giveaway. So for this week, if you watched episode 2, that week I shared a bookmark that I had made with the cross and with the scripture, and you also get this book and an angel charm. Okay? So that is the giveaway, and I am still the old-fashioned way where I'm gonna put it in a bowl. So I put all the comments in the bowl, and I had a total of 15 comments. I had to take out the duplicates and Ida and Sabrina's comments, and then I was left with 15 comments. So I'm still at a very small number. It's very intimate, and so I can do it this way. I didn't have to write or type hundreds of names. So let's give this a whirl. And I'm going to pick one name out of my bowl. Okay, and the winner is Patricia Davis. Thank you so much, Patricia. You are the winner of this episode number 2, Project Share. And so, ladies, I read each and every one of your comments. I will go back and I will reply. I was trying to do the random picker, so I thought maybe if I replied or did something to alter the comment, I might have a hard time. And I still couldn't do it, so I went to this way of picking the names. So I appreciate everyone's comments. Patricia, can you please email me? I will leave my email down below. Get in touch with me so we can make arrangements to get your winnings out. Okay, so let's move on. This week, or this episode, Sabrina put in our hearts a new scripture. And the scripture for this collab is from Galatians, and it is a very well-known scripture. I think it is. I love this scripture. When she gave us the scripture, I was so thrilled. We had studied the scripture in church. I listened to a teaching on it. Ironically, look at this Bible page. I have an illustrated Bible, and so the scripture that we were to meditate on is right here in this beautiful font and leaves and all kind of things going on. It's beautiful. So I have the beautiful Word Holy Bible. So it's a King James version. And so she gave us the scripture of Galatians 5 verse 22 through 23, and it is the fruit of the Spirit chapter. And so on verse 20, scripture. So in chapter 5, verse 22, it reads, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law." And I just love this scripture. I had learned, when I was first studying this scripture, I wondered why fruit was a singular instead of plural, because there are 9 so-called fruits that the Spirit gives us. And then I learned in church that fruit is one. It's one fruit that the Spirit gives us. That one fruit has all of these characteristics. And so to walk with Jesus is to have every single one of this Spirit fruit that the Spirit gives us, which is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. And many of us, like I would love to have every single one of this characteristics of the fruit. And I am so glad that I asked Jesus to help me every day to attain this fruit as a whole. And so that is my goal. I think, to walk the right way that Jesus wants us to is just such blessings, and that I pray about, and then I ask Him to give it to me. And so I really love this this verse. So thank you, Sabrina. I really love this verse. I've done I think in a Traveler's TN insert, I do a share with another YouTuber, Tina, who is Tell Him Thank You. I did elaborate on the scripture at one time of our shares. I thought I did it in another crafting venture, and I'm not sure if I have it here on YouTube, but the more I grow in the Word, the more the Word speaks to me. And so I am forever grateful for that. And that's what happens. The more you indulge in the Word, it speaks to you. And every time there are meanings that you take out of it, and you understand what the Lord is saying to us. So on that note, I'll put my Bible away on the side, and I will share with you my project. Now, this project for this episode, I went back and forth, and I altered a couple of things, and I still wasn't feeling it. And I had to make a prototype of a favor for a really good friend of mine, and she wanted it kind of like a book style favor. And so I played around and I looked at YouTube's, and one video that I found on YouTube, it is from Guidecentral English, Guide Central, all one word, English. The title of the video was How to Make a Book-Shaped Gift Box. It was a DIY crafts tutorial. And so I watched it. There's no speaking. There are subtitles on it, like words typed on the bottom. So you kind of have to watch how she makes it and look at the measurements and instructions on the bottom of the screen. But it was easy to do. And so I made a prototype. Let me go get it for a minute. I should have had it. So I played around with the frame. So I made this. Okay, so it was fairly easy to put together. It was time consuming, but I did it. And I thought, oh, what a really nice replica of the inside of a book. And so I continued to do the tutorial, and I came out with something like this. So I made it out of very thick cardstock. I think it's even thicker than 110-pound cardstock. And so you score it, and then I inked the edges with the Tim Holtz Tim Holtz Distressing Inks to make it look vintage. So I made 2 of them. I didn't put it all together yet because I kind of wanted to show you kind of the process that I did. I tweaked it a little. I kept the measurements, but I think I tried to do a little bit, you know, kind of my own twist on it. So I came up with this. This is from a paper pack that is Christian base, and I love that pack. And so I pulled out some papers from that pack. So I ended up making the cover of the book this way. I put magnets right here, and I covered the inside with more designer paper. And these are the 2 items that my friend wants to put in her favor. And so it's a lotion and a soap, and these are great products from Melaleuca. It has the tea tree oil in it, so it fit perfectly. And I thought, wow, this is really good, but I'm not too sure what way she's gonna go. So at least I made something. It sat on my craft table for like a week, and I was so frustrated with the projects that I was trying to come up with that I sat there and I prayed and I asked the Lord, okay, it's a very meaningful scripture to me, and I want to make sure I capture the whole scripture in my crafting. And so I looked again and I saw this sitting on my computer keyboard, and I thought, wait a minute, I can kind of make it look like a book, so like a Bible. And so this is my project that I came up with. This paper line is from, I believe it's KSP by Louisa. She sells digital paper on her. She has I don't think it's Etsy. I'm sorry, Louisa. I have to, if you go on to KSP by Louisa, you'll see her links to her digital paper. I think this is the Seamstress paper line. And so I got a paper from there, and I love printables because you can print as many as you want. And then I used a seam binding closure instead of a magnet on this one. And then you open it up, and here is another digital paper from that line. And so it becomes a box, a keepsake box. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna go with this. And then I watched more tutorials, and I came across Little Hot Tamale, who is Megan, and she recently did a DIY banner ruffled crepe paper tutorial, and it was centered around Halloween. And although I don't do Halloween things, I love to still watch creations because it really inspires you, and that's what inspired me from watching that video. So I thought, banner, I always wanted to make a banner, and so I tried my hand at it. Okay, so putting this aside, so these are the insides. So what you do is I just cut the thick cardstock again. I scored it, I inked the edges. This is going to go right down. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to put another designer paper inside to cover all of this. I'm going to glue this piece in, and then that becomes my box. See? Okay, so I'm going to put that together, and I will come out with this. So as I was creating my banner, I made it to fit inside of this box right here. So here are my banner pieces, and I'm using the same paper line but a different pattern paper. And so I thought, okay, I measured this opening, the width and the length. I used my banner framelets from Stampin' Up, and I used the largest one. I did have to slice off a little on the top. I scored it and folded it, and then I put it in here. So I thought, okay, I can fit 5 banners in there. And so I was perfectly happy with that. And then came my problem. It was embellishing these banners. So after I embellished the banners, it came out ginormous. So it no longer fit in this box. But that's okay, because so far I've kind of done 2 components on my shares. So this book will be one, and I will fill it. I'm not sure what I'm going to fill it with, but I'm going to fill it with something. And the second part of my share is the banner. Look at it. It is beautiful, and I don't think I can capture it all in the screen here. Let's see. So this is what my banner looks like. Okay, so it is 5 banners, and what I did was I broke up the scripture. So each of these banners, if we spread it apart, will look like this up close. The first one is, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. And the scripture is below, Galatians 5, verse 22 to 23 from the New King James Version. And so this is what each banner piece will look like. So when you look at the rosettes, see, I left it all in pieces so I could show it to you. What I did was I got the rosette, and I already covered it with all the toppings, but I used the Glitterific, and it's the gold sparkle one, and I painted the Glitterific all around the rosette. Now, if at first I did ink the edges first, and then I put the Glitterific, but I think the ink kind of, when Distress Inks gets moist or wet, it starts spreading. So I think that's what it did. And although the first banner is like that, I didn't really care for it. I really wanted the shabbiness to show rather than the more vintage look. So I did not ink the edges on this one. So I did do the Glitterific around, and it is beautiful. Can you see the sparkles in it? Okay, and then with my eyelash trim, which is this one, and it has a little sparkle in it, I wrapped it around and around between this doily and the rosette. Okay, so I just went around in it, and then I punched out the scripture in 5 different parts using my Stampin' Up! Scallop punch, and then I inked the edges, and then I glued it onto the center. Okay, so that is my rosette. And then, so this took a really long time to do. There was a lot of components in it, but I enjoyed it, and I really liked how it came out. So then I used another punch, and I think this is another Stampin' Up! Punch, and it is a branch. And so I punched, I think I punched out about 100 of these, because I did it, well, maybe not 100, but each leaf spray has 210 cardstock pieces that I glued together so that it became thicker. And then I punched out using the scraps of the digital paper. I punched it out, I think it was 5 times 3, 15 times, actually more, because times 2, and then I glued it all together in a stack, so it became very thick. And then I went with my Distress ink, and this I edged all the edges. I did try to use the glitter stickles, or make it a little bit more glittery, but I didn't really care for it, so I left it alone. Okay, so then on each banner, let's just take this last one here. So each banner has the leaves tucked in under the doily and the eyelash trim. Okay, so that finishes off the banner. And then I took another Stampin' Up! Lace that I had in my stash, and I used this as a banner piece because it was very dainty. It was, you know, the color was just right for me, that off-white. And then I laid out my ribbon, and then on each one of these I left a little tail at the end, and then with my hot glue, first I glued down the lace in the back to keep it still, and then with my hot glue I glued down the flap. Okay, so then it looked like this. Okay, so the banner strung onto this ribbon lace with it all glued like this. So in the back of my banner, see, you will see that I had glued down the flaps. And then to finish it off, I put these butterflies on it. So I have this punch, and I think I bought it from, I'm not too sure, but it's an EK Success punch, and it's one of those that you can move the switches to do different types of butterfly punches. So I used this one where it's all punched out and a little bit ornate, just like this picture. And so I punched out many butterflies because I did the same. I stacked it onto 110 cardstock. I'm sorry, I'm out of frame. And then I punched the digital paper on top. This one I used the Glitterific, and I went around the butterfly to make all the glittery sparkles. And then I glued a pearl piece, flat back pearl, on the center of the butterfly. Okay. And then I kind of bent the wings so that it will look a little bit more realistic. And then I strategically placed them on the banner after I put it all together. It was easier to adhere and to do placement after I adhered the base. And so the very two ends, I have it on the corners of the banner. And then for the middle, I put it right there on the top. And then for one of them, I put on the bottom. And this one, because the scripture had a lot of room on the scallop circle, I put it right there. Okay, so I think I'm going to give everyone a set of magnets so they can, let's see, where's my magnets? Here you go. So you can use the magnets and glue them onto the back, and you can use it to either do a magnetized hanging, so you have the whole banner displayed, or you can use a nail or a thumbtack to go right through this lace piece and hang it. Okay, but I think if you hang it up and you look at it, you can really meditate on this scripture. And I think it's a great way to remember this scripture, to memorize it, to always pray about it. So I think that's what I wanted to do. I really wanted to display the scripture. So everyone, that is my craft share for this episode 3, Faithful Fridays. I want to thank Sabrina for being our host. I want to thank Ida and Sabrina for always coming up with great ideas. They are awesome crafters, ladies. Go to the channel. Please like and subscribe to all of us. And I will, and congratulations to Patricia Davis for winning episode 2. And we will all see you back here in 2 weeks for episode 4 of our 5-episode Faithful Friday. I want to thank everyone that always visits me, comments, likes my videos. I am so blessed that I have a community that follow me and that I can share with. That is the most important thing. So until then, everyone, have a very blessed week and an upcoming weekend. And I will see you really soon. Bye.